May Mailman is here, former attorney in the Trump White House counsel's office, and with us now. All right, we can all agree if you break the law, you're supposed to be arrested. Fine. At the same time, the political side of this, I don't know about you, but you watch that video, you almost feel bad for the people being arrested.
Well, I mean, the people being arrested couldn't vote, not just because they didn't go through hoops, but these are murderers and sexual assailants. They did not have their rights restored. But, you know, I think that for the state of Florida, good for the people of Florida, their laws that they put into place are actually being enforced. There are multiple states and multiple cities where the laws that people pass are never enforced. You can just go carjacking, you can, you know, do drugs in the street, and no one will ever enforce them. So if the people of Florida don't like this, they want murderers, they want sexual assailants to vote, they can absolutely pass that law. They just haven't. Or if they don't want them to vote, but they also want there to be no penalty for not following the law, they can do that too. So this is DeSantis,
right,
not
but
just...
we all know, May, that there's an issue of priorities. You also have a hurricane in Florida. A big part of that state is destroyed. You think about how Ron DeSantis has operated over the past couple of years, especially as it relates to sort of political tone reading, if you will, or reading the room. Huge high marks across the board and bipartisan support for his handling of the hurricane. Did pretty well with the Disney crisis. Certainly got high marks for how he handled COVID as well, and had a lot of bipartisan support among moderate Democrats for how he kept schools open and the like. Why do something like this just a couple of weeks before the election? Are there people who are going to really vote for him because of this?
Well, I think he's not really pulling resources from other things. This is a separately funded, specific bill that created this task force, and it's only 15 people. So, you know, this is something that is not necessarily that DeSantis is saying, I'm going to reprioritize because I'm trying to win an election. This is something that was set up by the legislature in order to specifically do this. And also at some point, you know, as the governor, you're not just trying to win election. You're not just trying to do things that moderates like, and you actually do need to do the job that you were elected to do. And part of I think what a lot of Republicans want him to do is really focus on election security. So I don't know how much of a ploy this is.
That's fair, and it's been a huge Republican issue, right? Election security, who gets to vote and the like. This is a little bit more of the video of one of the voters' arrests. Take a listen.
We wanted people to pay attention and say, okay, if there is going to be a quote unquote Jim Crow 2.0, we're going to put a stop to it. So yeah, it does throw cold water on the idea, but
So that was the wrong soundbite. It was from an interview yesterday. I'll just ask the booth, do we have the video? No, we don't have it, but I'll read it. This is a guy saying, I said I was a convicted felon. I'm pretty sure I can. This guy says, well, are you still on probation? No, I got off probation. And then the guy at the DMV, well, you can probably vote and fill out this form. Is convicted felons who are now may or may not have paid all their fines really the threat to election integrity that Republican voters are worried about?
Well, I think that if you just
you understand what I'm asking.
I do. So I think that the real election, everybody can disagree. Some people can say that it's ballot harvesting, you know, just general election security concerns. So I wouldn't say that this is off the list, but yeah, maybe it doesn't rise to top 3, top 5 for some people. However, I do think that although there were 20 people arrested, this doesn't mean that there's 20 people that are going to go to jail or 20 people that are going to owe fines. They have to willfully submit a false statement. And if they didn't willfully submit a false statement, then they're going to be fined. But you know,
so then what's the point? Doesn't it just ooze political stunt by how you just described it?
Like I said, I don't know if arresting 20 people is actually going. I don't know if that goes into political stunt. And this is a 15-person body. I mean, there's there's not very much that they can do with just 15 people. So if what you're going to do is you've identified these felons, you know that they couldn't vote, you do have to enforce the law. I mean, one of the problems is they say they didn't know what the law is. They didn't know that they could vote or couldn't vote. Well, when you enforce the law, then that public knowledge increases. That is exactly what you need to do in order for people to take election integrity seriously in Florida.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.